All right.
Hello, and welcome to Mary Elizabeth Jones's Variety Hour.
Hello out there in TV land. Welcome to the summer of 2024. And I'm your special guest star, Kaye Lazar. How you doing, Mary? How you been the last couple of weeks?
I'm great. I just had a birthday 2 weeks ago.
Yes. I think we did a show on that day. That's the first time. And due to popular demand, here we are again.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. So you enjoying the summer?
Yes, I am.
Yes. So I don't know why, but all these aches and pains I've been having. First, I tell you, first I had a little tickle in the back of my throat, and when that happens, I just bombard it with orange juice and medicine and anything that sunlight, anything, the sun lamp. I don't know. And then when that went away, then I had like a sore on my rib cage, like a broken rib. I don't know where that came from. Once I think I mentioned this once before. Once I sneezed really bad and I dislocated a rib. I don't know what's going on. So then that's kind of going away, and now I have a problem with my right hand, my thumb, and I think I slept on it, kind of wrong, and now it's my right arm, right hand. You know what you do with your left arm?
What?
Absolutely nothing. The only thing your left arm is good for, or left hand is good for, is when you're. I'll tell you what it's good for. When you're using a scissors, you hold it with your left hand, and then you. That's all it is,
Yeah.
But it's later we're gonna go swimming, so that's good because I love to go swimming. That's what I love most about the summertime. So have you been going anywhere this summer? Do you have any shows coming up or anything?
I have an audition coming up in July. So.
Okay, let me tell you, I'm taking a sabbatical from acting. We were talking about how we were talking about this recently, and we'll bring it up again. How we always talk about all the success we have getting parts and everything. It's hard to get parts.
I know.
Usually I like working with people I've worked before with because they know what I'm. In fact, to the point where sometimes I don't even have to audition anymore. They say, Kevin, we know what you're up to. We know how good you are or how bad you are. We know that you're not. You're pretty good actor, so singer, can't dance all that well. So we'll give you a part like that.
Yeah.
But every time I'm in a musical, I always want to sing though.
Yeah, I do too.
But it's like when I'm auditioning, sometimes sometimes I'll start singing, and you'll sing like you'll try out for South Pacific, and they'll say. Some enchanted. Quit next. Wait, I didn't even get the first line out. We know how you're gonna. We don't have to belabor this. Don't you hate that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But I got to tell you something. That's part of being an actor.
Yeah.
You're gonna get turned down for probably 90% of the parts, but more than that. Sometimes you never get.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel auditions are a good thing because then you could actually, if they never heard of you, then you could actually do a little mini performance for them. While if they know they've seen you in other things, I don't really, I've seen him in other things. He wasn't that great. But when you audition, they like you. I tell you, I once auditioned for a movie that our friend Chelsea was going to make, and it was based on a book she wrote. Chelsea?
Oh yeah, Chelsea.
And that's and so it was a kind of a mashup of gangsters and vampires.
I wasn't in that one, so because I wasn't mentioned in the children's theater then. So.
Well, it wasn't the children's theater. She actually, in fact, she became. I don't know how she. I think it was just a coincidence that we just ran into her in the children's theater, but she. Well, maybe friends of mine. Yeah, okay, friends of mine from the children's theater suggested I would be good in this movie, which was never finished. And but I remember I tried out. It was Gangsters and Vampires. It's based on a book she wrote, which you can still find the book. I forget what it's called. Just look up Chelsea Rain and you'll find the book. I think she might have written more than one. But anyway, she was trying for a franchise like Harry Potter, you know.
Oh yeah.
And it was vampires, or I guess in this case Twilight, and it was vampires versus gangsters. Okay, so I tried out. All the vampires all look like Robert in the day. This was before the Twilight movies. They all look kind of like Robert Pattinson, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't look like Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
I was more of a character actor. I was more of a Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Paul Muni type. And so anyway, I go there, Edward G. Robinson. I start yelling and screaming and bossing people around. All right, you guys, I'm the boss around here. See? Yeah. I'm doing all this stuff like so then when it was over, they said, oh, kind of we like this guy, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, can I try out for one of the vampires? And they said, yeah, you can try. Now he said, I love you, but I don't want to bite you and then suck your blood out and everything. And so I did that. And she said, so I said to her, I think the second round of auditions, they said, we want you to try out again for the gangster part. We're narrowing it down to a few people. And I got the part actually. But she said, I said, what about the vampire parts? And she goes, we saw your audition as a vampire. You'd make a halfway decent vampire, but you'd make a brilliant gangster. So I said, okay, wherever I work. I got to tell you some weird things about auditioning and stuff. One of the famous stories was Batman movies. There was I think it was the first one with Michael Keaton in it, and they had I think Vicky Vale was eventually played by Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
But the original was supposed to be a woman named Sean Young, and Sean Young I think broke her leg in the rehearsals because she had to ride a horse or something, and she fell off a horse and she broke her leg. So they said, well, we're going to have to recast the part as with Kim Basinger. And then what happened was they made a second movie with the Catwoman. So Sean Young assumed that she would get an audition and everything, and she didn't get an audition. And every woman in Hollywood tried out to be the Catwoman. Annette Bening got pregnant, who was supposed to be the Catwoman, and she was eventually replaced with Michelle Pfeiffer. But everyone tried out for this part, except for Sean Young, who actually came wearing a bat costume and appeared on talk shows wearing the Catwoman costume, and actually kind of hurt her career because she was shown to be kind of flaky in that way.
Yeah.
But the idea that Meryl Streep tried out for that and did not get it kind of says it all. That if you could be Meryl Streep and apply for a part and still not get it. Now, I am very happy to announce that Meryl Streep and I, although she's a talented actress and all, she and I are two different styles of acting. So she can have her parts and I'll try out for my parts. I don't have to compete with her.
Yeah.
I compete with, there's plenty of other people to compete with. They joke that there's not enough parts for older women in the movies anymore. And somebody said like women, this was a while back, they said it's very hard for a woman in her 40s to get good parts in movies or in theater and stuff. I mean, in a big way. And Meryl Streep says, I don't have any problem.
Well, she might have a problem every now and then because she might not get parts sometimes.
But the thing is that somebody said that the reason why she doesn't have a problem with it is because she gets all the parts. There's nothing left. But me, I'm just happy to be in a show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so don't. In fact, a lot of famous actors, they have kids, and they actually tell their kids, don't be actors. You're just going to get, unless you want a lot of rejection, because you're going to be, and you're rejected for the weirdest reasons. Your looks, you don't look the part.
Yeah.
the famous. I saw a skit with Dudley Moore and Peter Cook, where a guy comes in with one leg, trying out for Tarzan. And it's very funny to see this because he's wearing an overcoat and he's just holding his leg and he's just hopping around trying to play Tarzan. and it's Dudley Moore doing that, and then the Peter Cook character says to him, "You know, we've had a lot of people with two legs try out for this part, but if no other people try, if all the other two-legged people can't get this part, you have the part of Tarzan."
Yeah.
So a lot of people get mad that dwarfs and people, well, like for example, I think there's a new Willy Wonka film where Hugh Grant played the Oompa Loompas.
That was the last show I did. So
Yeah, and and they said they should have hired a younger. They always talk about how well, it used to be that in the olden days they used to have white people wearing blackface to play black people in like silent movies like Birth of a Nation, which didn't bode well. But also there's let's see, there's you watch a cowboy movie. Any cowboy movie up until recent years, the Indians are always played by white guys wearing war paint and everything. And even I saw just recently the Lone Ranger and Johnny Depp, a white guy, played Tonto, the most famous Indian of them all, most famous Native American. A lot of people think that's wrong. We saw a movie, a Maestro, where Leonard Bernstein was played by a Jewish character, was played by Bradley Cooper, and he even wore a fake nose to make him look more like Leonard Bernstein. And also Leonard Bernstein was gay, so you had a straight Christian actor playing a gay Jewish famous person, but his family says, he's a good actor. A good actor should play the part,
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Well, I played Atticus Finch. A lot of people didn't think I was right for Atticus Finch, but I showed them.
Yeah.
For one thing, I was like a foot shorter than Gregory Peck did it in the movie, but also I had to prove to the actors that that wasn't really the problem. I had to show them that it wasn't Martin Short or Tom Cruise playing Atticus Finch. But I have to admit, there's no video of it. I wish there was a video of me playing the part. But I wore glasses and a suit, and I'm very stern and stoic and everything that Atticus Finch is. And I did look a little bit too much like Stephen Colbert. So anyway, you just sometimes the part matches. I think in the case of Atticus Finch, I think Rock Hudson wanted the part. He was too young. And Spencer Tracy wanted the part, and he was too old. But then Gregory Peck hit it out of the park, that type of thing. So, just the right part, right thing.
Yeah.
Now, have you been following, like, the news and everything? Like, you've been following, like, Donald Trump and his travails, the Trump travails?
Not often, but I do catch it every now and then. So.
Yeah, well, he was convicted of 34 counts. I mean, he wasn't found innocent of anything that he was accused of in this campaign. You know the story. And but he's still running for president. He still has an edge. Half the people in America want him. There is no law that says a person in jail can't run for president. It's going to be hard if he wins and he's in jail. I have a feeling that if he wins, he'll probably pardon himself. He says he's going to pardon all the people from the January 6th. So that's. I have to admit, a lot of people, feel he's getting what's coming to him. But there's something in it's almost like when Nixon was in trouble. He deserves it. Yeah, he did wrong. But this is America. We don't want. I don't think it's right that we imprison our our leaders. That one guy ran for vice president. If you remember John Edwards, he ran as vice president with Kerry. He almost went to jail for almost the same problem. I think in the case of he was using money. I forget what it was, but he was using campaign money, I think, to keep a love child quiet that happened while his wife was dying of cancer. Yeah, that's awful. Yeah. So we'll wait and see. But then I talk to people who feel strongly about against Trump, and said that it all goes to show you, in America, you could be the rule of law applies. Not just to the poorest people, but to the President of the United States. Everyone has to follow the law here. You're not too good for the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had his day in court. He had the best lawyers he could hire, and he had the best defense he could do. But when you break the law, you break the law. That's the way it goes. You know.
Yeah.
And but somebody says, well, he lied. He lied. Let me tell you something. Everyone lies. Oh, I love that dress. Oh, you got a nice haircut. And I tell you, when I lie, it's like when I get stopped by the police for speeding. Oh, I didn't know I was speeding. Sometimes you don't. But you always try. You think you're going to convince the policeman, but we're joking about the police. How when you how's it go when you get stopped by the people always say how great the police are, and they do a great job, and I think and it's a hard job, and having to deal with the crooks and everything. But most people's encounters with police aren't so nice. They're usually being arrested or getting a ticket, or move along here. The job of a policeman is not to be nice; it's to be a tough guy, to be a tough person. And it's like a soldier. Have you been keeping up with what's going on in the Middle East? Isn't that awful?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. I've been very upset. I'm Jewish, and it's been a really rough time for us. I've never seen an ugliness like I've seen recently. Antisemitism, and just in the news recently, the Israeli army rescued 4 hostages, and everyone's giving them a hard time because they rescued 4 hostages. And I said, why don't maybe the Hamas shouldn't have held 4 hostages in the first place,
Yeah.
And all these sympathizers with Hamas. I mean, they're terrorists. They're evil, murderous bastards. These people. People are saying the same about the other side. But war is hell.
Yeah.
And but what they have done is they truly. Someone actually told me they're truly opened a Pandora's box, and it's terrible. They shouldn't have, if they didn't want, you can't just start a war and then when you start losing it, say, okay, let's have a do-over. No! And people say, well, why doesn't, Israel have a ceasefire? I said, I'm sure Israel wants this to be over. I'm sure they want their hostages back, 120 of them. They got 4 of them.
Yeah.
4 of them is not 120. The other side, and it's very important to note that Hamas does not want to give up their hostages. Hamas, I found out, has no uniforms. They have no real ranks, like colonel or general. So you can't really tell. So when they go into Gaza to find hostages, they're amongst all the people. They're in tunnels. They're in the houses.
Yeah.
And they and it truly amazing. There's a lot of celebrities that are for and against what's going on, and this is the craziest thing. The only ones of any note that are speaking out against Gaza is the Jewish celebrities like Deborah Messing or Jerry Seinfeld. I haven't heard, all these, I like to think of myself as a liberal,
Yeah, I'm a
and
liberal too.
and I'm against war. I'm against anti-Semitism. I'm against anti-Muslim Islam. I'm against, I think the world is a big enough place for everybody. But the only ones I hear speaking out against Gaza are the Jewish celebrities.
Yeah.
And it's been it's rough. It's rough being Jewish, especially it was rough. I tell you what really sticks in my craw, and this and I've in this not in national chains like McDonald's or somewhere like that, but I've been to a few local restaurants and a few local places, and they'll have the Palestinian flag up, and it makes me. I mean, and they'll have it. I mean, I'm not kidding you. They'll have it like with a rainbow on it, like it's Queers for Palestine, and from what there's no, they don't. If you were gay living in Gaza or in the ranks of Hamas, they don't ask for your pronouns. They don't ask. They're not open-minded that way. They throw them off of rooftops, and this is like in the movie Braveheart, And so I refuse to. Once I see that flag, I mean, I take it very personally. I mean, they might as well put up a Nazi flag with a swastika on it when I walk into these places. And I mean, this place is not friendly to Jews, or the people that are running it are so oblivious to what Jewish people have to go through. And not, I heard on one show that it's there's 4 degrees. What's that? 6 degrees of separation, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, whatever it's called. That you could almost link anything going on in the world, any trouble in the world, including the pandemic, including war here, including climate change or something, and you could blame it on the Jews. You could blame it if you're a conservative and you want to blame it on a Jew. You could blame it on George Soros, who's Jewish, progressive Jew, or you could blame it on Israel, or you could blame it on Hollywood, which is a lot of Jewish people working. And there's a lot of Jewish people in the Congress and everything. In fact, Richmond used to have a Jewish congressman, my friend Eric Cantor. Right. And this is what it's, so I see, these flags. Now I want a homeland for the Palestinians. I think everyone does, except the Palestinians. They want it all. And in 1948, they were offered their own homeland, and they said, no, we want the whole thing. And Israel said, no, we'll share it. But they refused to share it, and there's been wars there ever since. And there's been a couple of wars, the Yom Kippur War during Golda Meir, and then before that, the 6-Day War. And in both cases, they were pretty much going to wipe out the Jewish presence in that area. I mean, pretty much kill everybody. And as it turned out, the Israeli army won. So it's I know I'm forgetting something, but this is the time. Someone was also telling me that what I was saying when I see the swastika or the rainbow Palestinian flag, I take it personally as a affront to Judaism and as an anti-Semite thing. And then an African American told me, he goes, now you know what it's like to drive down Monument Avenue and see all those Confederate generals on horseback. I go, because that was created at a time to rub it in I guess in the 1920s Jim Crow laws that were still in Richmond at the time, Richmond, Virginia. So it's been a cruel year,
Yeah.
And we just I wish we could just put this behind us and move forward, because it doesn't seem like it seems like the hatred with the election coming up, and then the wars in the Middle East and all. There's the only joy I think we've had recently in a national was the eclipse of the sun. It always seems to work, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. What else do you have to say?
I just had to say that we need to pray for our nation and everything. Pray for them because this world gets messed up every now and sometimes.
It's a work in progress, you know, and for the most part, I think America is, even with the Middle East and everything, and with our trouble with our election, we're Biden's too old. Trump, we're kind of a little scared of.
Yeah.
In fact, if they claim Trump's people, his supporters.
Yeah.
They claim that if he wins, then there's just be bedlam everywhere, just riots everywhere on both sides,
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, if Trump loses, we'll have another January 6th, So it looks like we're not going to win either way. There's no easy way to do it. I know one thing, they've already decided, the Trump people, that if Trump loses, it was fixed. I mean, can you imagine anytime everything is fixed, everything is, every election is fixed? That's, he still hasn't conceded the last election, Trump, so. But at the same time, we have Biden, who is, we wonder, he's an 81-year-old man. Members of my family, when they turned 81, we took the car keys away from them. Like, if they take the car keys away from me, I'm getting up there. Like, that might do me a world of good there. Anyway, oh gosh, I have so much. I have so much to say. I'm only on page 2. Oh, there is a part 2 to this show, isn't there?
Yes. We're going to take a little break for a little while, then we're coming back, okay?
Sounds good.
May God bless you all. See you all in a little bit. Take care.